What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, hopefully you've had a chance to catch the WandaVision finale at least once, if not several times in the last 36 hours. If you missed our full recap of the episode and Easter egg breakdown, I'll make sure to link it at the end of this. But we've got to talk specifically about both post-credit scenes, the first of which obviously leading into Secret Invasion via Captain Marvel 2, the second of which was a clear setup for Multiverse of Madness and Man, and that second one they said quite a bit with no dialogue at all. We're going to break down both post-credit scenes, explain what happened in them, who they were talking about in the first episode, the friend of her mom, and of course that second, and what it means for Multiverse of Madness. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we are about to ding, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday while the shows are live. We'll even include this Friday as well, since hey, what's 1 week off? If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So obviously, the first post-credit scene is a lot more straightforward than the second. The dialogue is indicative of exactly what's going on, and even though some lines are meant to be semi-ambiguous, they're easily referenced, and we'll explain who and what she was talking about when she said friend of her mom's and pointed to the sky. But there's one thing I want to point out that I really didn't notice until about my third or fourth watch: the absence of Darcy Lewis's character in this first post-credit scene. You would have imagined, had they had their way and how it was probably originally written, she would have shared some dialogue with Monica and Agent Wu, although she wasn't anywhere in the shot, even though she got a shout out from Monica. The only reason I think this probably was is we all know that principal photography was postponed because of COVID, so who knows what happened when they reconvened to finish that and the reshoots. She may not have been available, hence why she wasn't there, but she was prevalent enough, a big enough character throughout the entirety of the series. You gotta think that they would have written her into that final scene, post-credit scene, if she had been around for those shoots. She's not really present in the episode much at all, except for when she rams Hayward. Now, when she takes her into the theater and explains that a friend of Monica's mom wants to see her, he says, "I heard you'd been grounded. He wants to meet with you." Monica says where, she points to the sky. Who she's pretty clearly talking about here is Nick Fury, and where she's pointing is the S.W.O.R.D base that we saw him present on out in space in the post-credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, there are some questions I started asking when I thought a little more about this, how director Hayward would be the director of S.W.O.R.D and how Nick Fury maybe plays into their chain of command or what exactly he's running, but it seems as though he may be running something a little more covert. The fact that she didn't outwardly say anything about Nick Fury, used semi-ambiguous language in case somebody was listening, and I think that is a very clear setup for what's going on with Secret Invasion. If he's running something covert, it's because they're in the same situation they were back when S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. We've already seen how this plays out, except this time, Nick Fury has a lot of experience dealing with such. I think this is also an excellent time to point out that the show did quite a bit of subtle world building throughout the entirety of the series, and we know that presumably Agent Wu or one of the other agents in the office wrote the scrolls with a question mark as a possible culprit for what was going on early in the series on the whiteboard. I've even speculated here at the channel, like other people, isn't it kind of silly to do a secret invasion after everybody knows their scrolls? Isn't the secret kind of out? But that scene showed us how easily they can infiltrate and move amongst society without being detected, hence the name Secret Invasion. And it's looking as though the wheels are already in motion, at least on Nick Fury's side, to sort of start moving secretly to combat the threat that has probably already been established and probably grew at an exponential rate during the time between the snap and the blip when everything was in disarray. Now, the second post-credit scene is a lot less straightforward, although I do want to mention something I missed in my Easter egg video. It is not a coincidence that we saw Wanda sitting on a porch stoop the same way we saw Thanos at the end of Infinity War. Now, obviously, she gets up to walk in the cabin, and they sort of scroll through the cabin to the back room, where we see her what looks like sort of astral projecting, reading through the Darkhold. Also, I missed it the first time. The pages are turning the opposite direction. I like that, as if the book could actually be written backwards. What I will mention here is that there is something very cool and very creepy they were able to accomplish with the scene and the way they did it. The last time we saw someone astral projecting, if that's what she's indeed doing, studying a book, it was Doctor Strange, and it was a pretty cool scene when we saw it at the time. In an analog to that, a parallel indeed, but almost a clear dichotomy, they made sure to show us that Wanda is awake and conscious and living her life and still able to do this. You remember Agatha during the episode made sure to mention that she's destined to become more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Could she already be there? Presumably, if not, she's going to get there by the time we get to Multiverse of Madness. Now, the second dichotomy established in this scene is that here she is in solitude, no coven, learning this very dangerous Book of the Damned magic by herself. That's a stark contrast to what we saw during Doctor Strange in the original film, when he had the Mentors of Kamar-Taj, the Ancient One, and or the other sorcerers in the Sanctum Sanctorum to say bust into the library when he may have done something stupid with the Time Stone and gotten caught in a time loop, or never having existed at all, as the way Baron Mordo put it. There's a lot that can go wrong. This whole series was a test for that, something she wanted and was able to achieve through means that were super dangerous and at the detriment, almost malicious, against everybody else she was mind controlling in the town. She presumably said she was going to understand her power and had hopefully learned her lesson. But right before this post-credit scene ends, and as indicated by closed caption, she hears the calls of both of her kids, Billy and Tommy, saying, "Mom, help," and she reacts in a way that makes me think she's going to do something about it. Now, we know from the hex rules that were established during the series that those kids technically should have disappeared when the hex disappeared. They were a function of the spell. Perhaps their souls actually continued, and I said there might be something funny going on here because we know they're obviously going to go on to become members of the Young Avengers. We also have seen photos via social media and Instagram that have now been deleted that indicate they may be filming on the Multiverse of Madness, which is filming at the moment. But either way, we also know she's dealing with very dark and very dangerous magic, and this is where Mephisto or Nightmare may come calling. Either could easily be imitating the calls of her kids in order to trick Wanda into doing something they want to do, casting a spell they want her to cast, or going somewhere they want her to go. Now, without reading too much into it and leaving that speculation on the table, I think it's clear the other implication could be that the souls of her kids somehow persisted in the multiverse or somewhere else past the existence of the Hex. We know they're going to be back in the MCU as Young Avengers if they finally do that roster, so I think that something is at play here to test Wanda again, except this time she has an understanding of her power and is probably infinitely more powerful than when she did the Hex in the first place. So with all of those resources at her disposal, in the same way her magic attracted Agatha during the series, now they know how much more powerful she is, and they know where her weakness is for lost loved ones. That's where it sort of sets up the Multiverse of Madness. What lengths will Wanda go to? What is she willing to do with this newfound power in order to perhaps retrieve her kids from wherever they are, if they're her kids at all? Guys, let me know all your theories down below on all of this, what's going on in either of these post-credit scenes, and what your theories are for the upcoming Secret Invasion and Multiverse of Madness. How do you think this is going to play into, if at all, with Spider-Man 3? Let me know all your thoughts down below, guys. I am all ears. And quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we are going to ding any day now. We'll probably give away more throughout the year, but we are days away from that giveaway. We're also giving away Disney Plus subscriptions every Friday to random commenters. So all you have to do to be entered to win or for any of the future prizes, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber. Then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up with the content is indeed to hit that notification bell with notifications turned on. And as always, I would appreciate it if you enjoyed today's video or the other content here at the channel, if you'd hit the like button. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires, and you can find me on Spotify and all other platforms with original music under All Fires. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.